And welcome into another fun-filled edition of Two Ball Guys on the Right. I am Kevin Bonner, and he is Will Rooney, broadcasting from his own studio, and I am in the big Two Ball Guys in the Right studio, all by my lonesome. I'm social distancing as good as I can. This is really social distancing.
It is. We're like, 40 miles apart?
I'm telling you, this is really social distancing. This is what the governor of every state really wants us to social distance. I got
all
great
the Democrat
news.
ones anyway.
Yeah, I got great news. Well, and some Republicans that I'll get to later on. Still to come, we're going to talk about Thanksgiving, air travel, the pardoning of the turkey today. Oh, my goodness. Some news. I'm not going to even call him a journalist. I am not going to do it. General Flynn has something to say. And about Sidney Powell, we'll talk about that. The vaccines coming up. And more Republicans losing steam when it comes to the fight for the truth and to end the fraud. The latest one would be Laura Ingalls. So we'll talk about that. And the Holocaust Museum is doing a George Floyd exhibit. Well, I mean, what does that have to do about the Holocaust?
Nothing. Absolutely zilch.
And the swamp is very, very thick. Joe Biden setting up a guy to be a Secretary of State that has ties to Hunter Biden and Burisma.
What? And it starts already.
Yeah, I'll get to that coming up. But you know what? AOC and Ian Omar have come out against somebody that Biden wants to set up and as a cabinet position, and they don't like the guy. So we'll talk more about that. Please subscribe and hit the notification and tell your friends. Here's the deal. We really, 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 really need you so that we can get to over 1,000 subscribers. So tell your friends, please. If you could do that for us, we would both greatly appreciate. All we are is a couple patriots trying to get the information out once or twice a week. And if you could subscribe, please subscribe. By the way, if you don't have a YouTube page, maybe you go to YouTube. There's a lot of people. I used to not have my own page where I signed in, had a username and password. I watched a lot of videos, but set yourself up your own page, and that way you can get the notification of the videos you like. And yes, it's self-serving for me and Will.
Well, and you can chat and you can make comments.
Yeah, you can do a lot of different things.
Sure.
By the way, historic day today, before we really get into the meat and taters of the show, are the turkey and the gravy, the day before Thanksgiving. Historic day, the Dow Jones exceeds 30,000 for the first time in the history of America. The Dow Jones goes over 30,000. Unbelievable. A lot of that is expectation of the vaccine coming. Multiple vaccines, and we'll talk about when can we expect the vaccines to roll out so that, Biden will take credit for this, I'm sure. Look at this. We got people are so excited about me and Kamala. I don't think it's about you. I really don't. I don't think it's about you. I think it's about the vaccine is coming out, and people are very pumped about that vaccine.
They're really excited about that tax hike that he's already proposing.
There you go.
Second Amendment restrictions he's already putting in place with the magazine restrictions. Yeah, he's all about, people are really excited about that, let me tell you.
Yeah, I look, this is why the Georgia race is so important. What is that, January 7th? It is so important that we get at least one Republican. I would love to have two, but we need one more to get the majority. We need one more to get it, and it would be 51-50 if we split the vote, 52-49 if we take both of those. Those seats are so important, because if not, they're going to have the House, they're going to have the Senate, and they're going to have the president, and they're going to steamroll a lot of stuff that we do not want. We do not want. President Trump is pardoning the turkey today, and I thought it was kind of comical, some of the things that he had to say. But some jackass reporter, I'm not going to even call him a journalist, wants to know if he's going to give himself a pardon. Listen to the cut. It's kind of embarrassing. It really is. President is putting forth his best face, going out there before you jackasses, And you're talking about pardon him for what? What exactly has he done? That's what I would love to know. This is why I'm not president, because Trump doesn't have a filter. If you think Trump doesn't have a filter, you haven't seen me. I would go 100%. I would go like Andrew Cuomo on him. I would go 100% unhinged. But here's the pardoning of the turkey, and with the president, are you going to pardon yourself? Here's what he had to say.
Pardons before leaving office. Will you be issuing a pardon for yourself?
Mr. President, will you invite President-elect Biden?
Mr. President,
I'd have probably given him the one finger salute, but that's just that's just me.
Right.
Shut up already.
Are you
Forget
gonna pardon
about you.
yourself?
Yeah, are you going to pardon yourself?
Yeah, there's been a lot of speculation he's going to pardon, but keep in mind, the only thing he could pardon himself for are federal crimes, and last time I checked, he's not up for any federal charges.
I haven't seen any indictments coming against the president. The other thing, they're like, are you and Melania going to, the big speculation, as soon as they leave the White House, she files for divorce. Look, we're not in their bedroom. We don't know these things.
No.
Stop the speculation. All right, we know we have the coronavirus going on. CDC warning about travel during the holiday, mass gatherings. Getting on a plane, would that be included in the mass gathering? I want you to think about that.
Yeah, a lot of people in a tin can in the air.
Exactly. So we're expecting 2 million travelers over the Thanksgiving holiday. 2 million, despite the CDC warning that they have put in place. But Americans, I think we have coronavirus. I think we have the vid. I don't know if you've seen the latest comedy skit about the vid. I think we have the vid. I think we're done with it. We're burned out with the vid. And we're going somewhere. Damn it, leave us alone. 2 million American passengers expected to fly this weekend during the pandemic. 2 million. That's a lot. And of course, most airlines are saying that you have to wear a mask if you're going to fly on the plane. And by God, please don't wear that Trump mask. You're going to trigger somebody. Unbelievable. So look for flights leaving tomorrow. The airports are going to be jam packed. So can't wait for that. Looks like a lot of people are talking about this voter certification. I'm going to tell you who's not talking about it. Any liberals are not talking about it. At this point in time, Donald Trump is leading Joe Biden 122 to 106. For some reason, I've got a scratchy throat. But 122 to 106. Now, some of the states that have been certified at this point, the battleground states that have been certified include Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Nevada, Arizona, and Wisconsin, if I'm not mistaken, have not been certified at this point. So those are the states, those are the actual states that have been certified. We've been talking about, well, we don't have the certification yet. That's not going to happen until December 7th. So far, the states that have certified the election, those are right now, Joe Biden is behind Donald Trump. At this present time, I'm not saying that's the way it's going to end, but at this time, Joe Biden is behind Donald Trump by 122 to 106. These are certified votes.
But we have to call him president-elect, though, B.
It's certified votes, 122 to 106. And here's the deal. I suspect that some of these states, like Pennsylvania and Georgia, will go to the Supreme Court because the verification process was hindered. And especially Pennsylvania, where they allow people, different counties had different rules and accepting absentee ballots. And that could throw a wrench in all of this. And we know that's exactly what happened to Bush and Gore. Different standards for different counties. Can't wait for this to play out. General Flynn posted something the other day. This was from yesterday. and General Flynn talked about Sidney Powell. There's a lot of people speculation about Sidney Powell and about why did she leave the, they kind of said that she wasn't part of the Trump campaign. And I think I know the reason why. But General Flynn says the fight is not over with Sidney Powell, and we just got to keep the faith. So, and I agree with him. I believe personally, me and Will have talked about this, why they kind of, did they discredit her? Was that the word we would use? Disavowed her?
They distanced themselves.
They distanced herself from her, and I think I know the reason why. You tend to believe that it's because she overstepped the boundaries when she went on Newsmax.
When she went on Newsmax, and I think the thing that may have been the final nail in the coffin is, and a lot of even the people on the right have been saying that these extraordinary accusations require extraordinary proof, and because the media is so impatient for any proof, and they won't wait. Because a lot of this, I mean, I don't know you, but anytime I've ever dealt with a court of law, they wait. They keep everything close to the chest, and then they reveal it during court.
What kind of attorney is going to tell the defense, this is exactly my game plan? Who would do that?
Yeah.
Who going on a football field would say, we have installed.
We're going to run this play next.
Yeah, we installed the triple option ahead of this particular game, and you better be ready for it. Who would say that? So I get it that you wouldn't tell all the information, but I believe that they distance themselves from Sidney Powell because, number one, if she's not part of the Trump campaign or defense or whatever legal team, she can now testify. And there's a couple things here. I tell you this. I read today that she is also certified as a military lawyer. She can, she's not a JAG officer or anything like that, but she is certified as a military lawyer. So we do know there were some problems with military votes. And maybe she could testify that. I don't know, but I do believe that she will probably be a big part of maybe testifying on behalf of President Trump. Now, she couldn't do that if she was a part of his legal team. We know that.
When the right really went off, says she went off the rails, was when she accused the Georgia governor of collusion in the election fraud. But to be fair, what I think their points were the fact that Georgia is one of the few states that 100% signed on to Dominion, and even the Republican administration, they don't want to admit that they may have screwed up with this Dominion thing.
He didn't do his homework.
They're all CYA, and from the county clerks to these governors, to these politicians. What do politicians do better than anything? Cover their butts.
Oh, yeah.
So that's exactly what I think they're doing. And that being said, but to throw out the fact that a Republican could be complicit in this, I don't think necessarily complicit in.
Yeah, Brian Kemp,
what's
I
going
don't
on
think
with
is
the
a guy.
Democrats.
Yeah.
No, not going on with what's going on with the Democrats, but maybe have some blame because he allowed the Dominion system to come into his state.
Yeah,
sure. Look at Texas; they said no way.
Yeah, I agree with that. That he could be part of the problem, and you'll never hear a politician admit that they're wrong about anything. So we'll wait and see where that goes. But that's my 2 cents. I believe that Sidney Powell will be testifying for the Trump team, and now she can, since she is not part of the Trump legal team. She's working on her own and doing her own investigation. So, but I'm seeing more and more conservatives distancing themselves from President Tucker Carlson is one of them. And I'm really disappointed a lot of things Fox News has done over the past, it's really only been 2 to 3 months, where they have eroded to the point where I really just can't watch them. I watched a couple weekends ago, and they were talking to an African American, the guy, about how Joe Biden won the election, and he was part of it. And as conservatives, I really don't want to hear that. I don't.
No.
And so Fox News has gotten liberal, and I'm not having it. But here's what Laura Ingraham had to say on why she's pretty much closing the books on the president.
In what was perhaps the most consequential tweet sent since Election Day, President Trump gave the go-ahead for the transition. You see it there. And as unpleasant and disappointing as these past 3 weeks have been to so many of us, as much as we wish things were different, this is where things stand tonight. Now, legal challenges continue in a number of states. Serious questions about vote counting, poll watcher access are outstanding. But unless the legal situation changes in a dramatic and frankly an unlikely manner, Joe Biden will be inaugurated on January 20th. Now, to say this does not mean I don't think that this election was rife with problems and potential fraud. And to say this does not constitute being a sellout to the conservative populist movement that I've been fighting for 25 years. And it does not mean that I disagree at all with the president's right and obligation to pursue all legitimate legal challenges to this outcome. To say this constitutes living in reality. And if I offered you a false reality, if I told you that there was an excellent, phenomenal chance that the Supreme Court was going to step in and deliver a victory to President Trump, I'd be lying to you. Now, you've known me for a long
Yeah. And I get part of that. Part of me, but the president is releasing the funding and that type of stuff for the transition team. He hasn't given up the fight. The president hasn't. So as long as they continue to fight, his legal team continues to fight, and the court is still hearing new cases, I'm good. We're going to march on, and we're going to fight on. And you know what? If not, I think the president comes back in 2024 and runs against Joe Biden, because by then we'll know how much of a big failure Joe Biden's going to be. We know that this guy. Oh, please! How hard did this guy work during the all of a sudden now he's out? He's out now. But during the campaign, he wasn't working hard. Maybe the reason is, and he slipped and said it, we have the biggest fraud team going on. And I remember the video.
Sure.
And so maybe that's why he didn't work that hard. He knew they were going to cook the books. I don't know. I really don't know. Unbelievable. On our morning show this morning, we had a local hospital CEO on. We were talking about the vaccine, among other things. And today, CDC came out and they say they're expecting the vaccine as an early Christmas present, maybe the second week of December. Now, we don't even have confirmation from the Food and Drug Administration that it's okay. We're not there yet. But the way this is going to be rolled out, they'll go frontline workers first, and then they'll go elderly, nursing homes, and that type, and then go to people with underlying conditions. And then from there, we'll go there. And we know that Pfizer and the other drug makers have come out and said that it's about a 95% rate. Now, the crazy thing is CDC also came out with some of the side effects. And some of the side effects might put you in bed for a day. You might not be feeling good after you get it, but it won't last long, they say. How long is too long? I don't know. For me,
find out.
Yeah, for a week, that's way too long. A day, maybe. I don't know. So we'll have to wait and see. About a lot of people are very apprehensive because of the side effects. They'll go, "You go first, and then we'll see the way it's going to be." Now,
Right.
if you're going to be doing traveling out of the country, a lot of countries are going to mandate that you have to have the vaccination. You're going to have the more and more states are coming out with the swab tests that are the saliva swab tests that are more efficient, more accurate, and more so than the taking the swab, and damn sure feels a little better.
Better than sticking it halfway up your nose.
It feels a lot better. All right, big question tonight. Holocaust Museum, Holocaust Center in Florida sparks outrage after adding a George Floyd exhibit. What exactly does the Holocaust have to do with George Floyd? Can you fill me in on this?
Absolutely nothing.
Oh, so somebody just slipped in it. I think we have a lot of people out there. And look, I think it's terrible what happened to George Floyd. I will never think that the actions of that one police officer and the guys that were just standing around were right. But at the same time, to make George Floyd a martyr after the life that this guy lived, it's totally off the damn tracks.
Let's make any of the actual victims of the violence and the riots and the looting.
Yeah.
And how about the black police officer who gave his life trying to protect his business and other people's businesses? Let's any of those folks. Let's make them the martyr, and let's give them the celebration or the 4 days of funeral. I'm not making light of the tragedy, but I'm not going to make a big deal about George Floyd's life either after the fact.
David Dinkins just passed away. You know who that is? He was the first mayor of New York City. I'm talking about in the early 90s, and was the first mayor of New York City, served 2 terms. He just passed away. Do you think he is going to get 4 funerals?
No.
The answer to that would be absolutely not. So if you're going to Orlando, Florida, go check out the George Floyd exhibit. And I'm wondering what kind of exhibit. Is there like a meth pipe there? I'm just wondering. What kind of exhibit would you set up for this lifetime criminal? What happened to him is wrong, but
maybe
I don't know.
One of his porn movies playing in a loop.
I don't know one good thing that you could actually set up at this exhibit. I don't get it. I really don't get it. What the Holocaust has to do with George Floyd. Don't get it. Don't get it.
It's insulting. It's insulting to the Holocaust survivors and those victims.
It is. All right. Here we go with the university mandates that 140 students test negative for coronavirus before they can leave for Thanksgiving. Now, this university is probably one of the biggest universities in the country. I had no idea. I had to look it up. State University of New York, they call it SUNY for short, SUNY system. Their students are going to be taking the coronavirus test, and they have to be negative before they can actually go home for Thanksgiving. Now, there are 64 campuses for the state of New York University. How many students do you think they have at all of those campuses?
64 campuses? I'm not even sure. How many?
Almost 500,000 students, 424,000 students. So the campuses are going to mandate that you take the coronavirus test. The 140,000 students are going to be taking the test, and they're done with kids going to school in person. They're cutting that out after Thanksgiving. They're going to do remote learning. And the reason they're going to do that is they don't want students traveling back and forth and during the cold months. So they're hoping that in the spring they can bring the kids back to campus. But they're going to mandate 140,000 kids have to be negative before they actually let these kids go home for Thanksgiving.
Well, how does that make sense? How about if they make sure that they're negative if they're going to let them leave at all? But how about, if you test it and you test negative, well, should it matter if it's 140 or if it's 5?
Here's the deal.
You're going to keep them all if 140 don't test negative.
And maybe I'm wrong about this. I start thinking about our constitutional rights. In this country, we don't make somebody stand up and say the Pledge of Allegiance. We don't do that. We don't make them do a lot of things. We don't make people work in this country, but we're going to mandate people before they get a job. And I understand we do drug testing and stuff. We're going to make sure that we're going to test them for the coronavirus. That seems like a reach in my rights. And what next? You're going to say to go to work, I'm going to mandate you have to have the vaccine too. Isn't that a violation of our body?
I guess it depends on the religion. It depends on a couple things, but I guess it depends on if you want the job bad enough.
I guess. But under equal opportunity, we have some provisions that if you are a Jehovah Witness, you don't celebrate Christmas, your birthday, and that type of stuff. So we have to make special special treatment for those people. If you're Muslim, we know that we can't have pulled pork Friday. I mean, there's a lot of things. It just seems like they're taking away our rights. And look, I'm not saying the pandemic's not wrong. I mean, I'm not bad. I mean, I'm saying, but it just seems as though we're losing a lot of our rights without actually fighting back. I know here in New Mexico, where me and Will live, there are places that are mandating you have to have a coronavirus test. And here's the crazy part about this. You would have to give me a test every day to really be accurate, because I might take a test today, come back negative. I might come in contact with somebody tomorrow, and I'm positive. So I would have to take that test every day really to do it right.
Which is not possible or feasible or financially sustainable.
Thank you. So the coronavirus testing is kind of crazy because the Oregon governor is telling she's telling people, if your neighbors are having a gathering, call it in. If they have too many people over at their house, call it in. I'm gonna look at the governor. I'm looking at put her phrase. I'm just saying, this woman looks like she hasn't had a great time in a long, long time. A long time. I hate to judge people that way, but it looks like, she hasn't had a gathering with friends in a long time. And who's to say how many people I can have over at my own house? Now, at restaurants, hey, state can do that. But at my own house, I was reading that they are going to send civilians out to houses that they get reports. Me personally, I'm one of these guys that stand with the Constitution. I'm not letting you inside my house.
So in Pennsylvania, they have no alcohol sales for Thanksgiving because of this. They're locking everything down there. They want you to report on your neighbor. Of course, New Mexico, we've been on various stages of shutdown for this entire time.
We're not supposed to have more than 10 people at our house. And I'm wondering, what relative do you cut? Is it Aunt Agnes or Uncle Floyd? I'm just wondering, who do you cut?
It's more than 5 now, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, no more than 5. So in Oregon, they're saying a $1,250 fine and jail time. Let me get this straight. You let child predators out of jail because of coronavirus, but you're going to throw a law-abiding citizen in. And when I say law-abiding, these mandates are not laws. They're only mandates. So you're going to throw people like that. And I'm totally disappointed in a Republican from Maryland. The governor from Maryland says no one has the constitutional right to walk around without a mask. Nobody has the constitutional right to walk around without a mask.
No one has the constitutional right to tell me I have to wear a mask.
Thank you.
No one has the right to tell me I have to wear a mask.
So we know the Pennsylvania governor has said no alcohol for Thanksgiving. He's the same guy that said it was a great idea if you're inside your own home that you should wear a mask. And here we go again, putting forth laws that can't be really enforced. They can't. Who's going in somebody's house? I got a civilian that comes to my house, or a police officer. Here's the way this is going to go down. I'm going to go to the door. Hi, how are you doing? What can I help you with? Oh, by the way, you're not practicing social distancing. Can you back up a little bit? How many people are in your house? That's none of your damn business. This is my domicile. This is my house. I pay the mortgage in this house.
Well, you got like 4 cars out there.
We want to count to see how many people came to your house. I'm sorry.
People parked out there. I don't know who's out there.
Come back with a warrant, and then we'll discuss it. Okay? When you come back with a warrant, we'll discuss it. Go ahead, run off, get that warrant.
were peaceful protesting the death of this poor turkey.
It's amazing the way that, the peaceful protest gets a pass on all this. It is amazing the way it happens. Unbelievable. But nobody is coming into my house. And look, I support law enforcement. And here's the deal. Law enforcement doesn't want to enforce this type of stuff. Sheriff's deputies across the United States, even California, came out. We're not going to enforce this. We're not going on Thanksgiving Day and ruin people's Thanksgiving. Look, if you're scared of this virus, you could stay home.
If you
don't have to go. Yeah.
Limit your exposure.
You don't have to go anywhere. You really, really don't. But as long as I'm breathing, I'm going to live my life to my fullest with my family, and nobody is going to stop me. Can you imagine our forefathers? Can you imagine the George Washingtons of the world? And George Washington was a badass. He really was. He's the one that went to, when they met, he's the one that went to the British and said, we're not going to comply. We're not. And they said, well, you will die. And you know what he said? We'll see about that. Can you imagine them going, hey, get back into your house? George Washington would be going, go blank yourself.
Yeah.
Ain't going to happen. Look, I get it. It's bad. How many people have died of pneumonia this year? Any idea? How many people die from I had a lady the other day tell me about not wearing a mask. As she smoked a damn cigarette, how many people die from lung cancer in the United States? On average, it's over 150,000 that die from lung cancer.
We're not going to get real numbers from 2020 because of all of the deaths that have been recorded as corona deaths.
You die from pneumonia, it's automatically you died from corona.
And I have the utmost respect and sympathy with all of our frontline medical workers who are having to deal with this and having to still put up with this. And not only that, but deal with all of the other issues that come along with it. And so many of these folks have gotten the coronavirus themselves.
Right. But here's the deal. It's not a death sentence if you get it. I always say, instead of counting the cases, let's count the mortality rate. Let's count how many died. Here's a great idea. Let's count how many people actually recovered from it.
Yeah.
Because I know multiple people that have recovered from it. And so that's the numbers that we ought to be looking at. But for whatever reason, they don't want to look at that.
Well, they can't control you through fear if you're not afraid of it.
Yeah, I agree. All right, the swamp is very, very deep as we move on to Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, and Anthony Bilkin. Anthony Bilkin, it looks like Anthony Bilkin is going to be the choice for Secretary of State. Joe Biden's pick for Secretary of State. Now, Joe Biden has a long-term relationship with this guy. He was part of the Obama administration. And guess what? You know who else has a relationship with him? Oh, Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden and Mr. Bilkin have a relationship because back in the day, Mr. Bilkin helped Hunter Biden with Burisma. So the records show that Hunter Biden has ties to Bilkin, having scheduled meetings with him just as he was assigned to the board of the Ukrainian energy firm Burisma. And that's when Bilkin was the deputy secretary of state. So
here comes all the thank you jobs.
Could this come up in the confirmation hearings? I would hope that it will. Look, but it's already happening. The Democratic Party is eating themselves because there are people that are going against members of the cabinet and going, whoa, 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 whoa. Mrs. Tlaib, Congresswoman Tlaib, has come out and said that that one of Joe Biden's pick is Jewish, and she said as long as he doesn't mess with my First Amendment right to talk a world of mess about Netanyahu and Israel. Well, who would take that away from you? That's the benchmark of our Constitution. You could say whatever you please, just like we say whatever we want. So either way, nobody's going to take that right away from you. But I think it's not going to be easy peasy for Joe to get some of these people confirmed. Number one, you'll have Republicans that, especially if they take the Senate, but I think the socialist progressive guys on one side will fight the mainstream guys, and we'll see where that ends up. It's not going to be kumbaya, that's for sure. They've already fired the first shot against Biden and some of his picks. But get ready. We're going to have a lot of thank you jobs. That's for sure. Well, happy Thanksgiving. I'm not going to see you tomorrow, but happy Thanksgiving. We're 2 days away from Thanksgiving. I've got the perfect stretch pants picked out. I'm ready. Thanksgiving is good to go. And I wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Don't forget to like, share. Look, if you like what we're doing, please share it with your friends. Most important thing you can do is subscribe and get us over 1,000. Then we'll start shooting for 2,000. So if you would, please tell your friends. And thank you guys so much for tuning in on a beautiful Tuesday. And I know we're a day late and a dollar short, but it is the American way nowadays. So there you go.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Make sure and check out our audio podcast. If you listen to audio, you can find us anywhere you download podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Podbean. We'd appreciate that as well. And follow us on social media, and we'll be back again. If we don't do one this week, if anything breaks, we'll do something special this week. Otherwise, we'll talk to you Monday.
God bless you guys. Have a good Thanksgiving.